Hello, everyone, and welcome to Portuguese Immigrant Week throughout the state of California. Indeed, it was in 1967 that then Governor Ronald Reagan, later President of the United States of America, that he declared the second week of March as Portuguese Immigrant Week in the state of California. And it has been declared by each governor since then. And of course, this year in 2021, the Portuguese Immigrant Week in California is from March 6th to March the 13th. And we are here to commemorate it on the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute. Every single weekday, we're going to be here, every single weekend day as well, between now and next Friday to commemorate this event and to give you a little bit, a synopsis of a little bit of the Portuguese presence in this great state, which we've been here for a while, as you'll see in a bit. I want to first give a shout out to our friends at PFSA, that's the Portuguese Fraternal Society of America, to President Dr. Monique Kelly Valens, and to CEO, a good friend, Mr. John Salvador, for all of the work that PFSA has put forth and does every single year to commemorate a Portuguese Immigrant Week in California. It is important, even though immigration from the Azores and from mainland Portugal and Madeira to California has practically ceased. We still have a few immigrants there and there, but very few throughout the year. And it is important, though, that we continue to commemorate this week because we are here because we are all immigrants, whether you came as myself at the age of 10 or later as my parents did when we all came together as a family and they were in their 30s, or if it was your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents, or even in some cases, your great-great-grandparents were the ones who came from the islands of the Azores, Madeira, or mainland Portugal and settled here in the state of California. We all have an immigrant story. And PBBI, the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute at Fresno State, through our social media outlets, is putting forth a project for this week called My Portuguese Immigrant Story. And we are asking you to tell us a little bit about your Portuguese immigrant story, whether you immigrated or your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents, whatever you know about it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your family history, when they came over, from where in Portugal, from where in the Azores or Madeira, and a little bit about your story here in America, because even though you might have been born here, as most Portuguese Americans are, of the 350,000 or so in the state of California, it is, of course, you are here because someone came from those islands, and you are Portuguese because someone came from those islands or mainland Portugal. So we want to encourage you to participate in My Portuguese Immigrant Story. It is all over the different social media platforms. A little bit, as I said, about the first immigrants to California. And I'm going to read a bit from a book that I encourage everyone to get, which is The Portuguese Presence in California by Professor Eduardo Mayon Dias. Professor Dias taught for 3 decades at the University of California in Los Angeles, and he indeed has written extensively about the Portuguese presence in California, in Hawaii as well, and in other Western states. If we have a history of the Portuguese presence in California, we owe it to all of the scholarly work of Professor Eduardo Mayon Dias. And according to him, and published in the book I mentioned, published by the Portuguese Heritage Publications of California, an organization that has done a tremendous work in publishing works about the Portuguese presence in this state and the Western United States. And so it was in 1814, with the desertion of a Minho native, Antonio José Rocha, born in 1790. He and other crewmen from the English schooner Columbia, while she was anchored in the port of Monterey, they deserted. The ship was engaged in commerce in England, between England, with China, Hawaii, and the Pacific coast of North America, making repeated calls to Alaska to load first. There's no indication of the reasons prompting Antonio José Rocha to sign on board the Columbia. After being held prisoner by Spanish authorities, nearly all the deserters were returned to the ship's captain. However, Rocha and another sailor, apparently from Galicia, received authorization to remain ashore, perhaps due to being Catholic or owing to their possible skills as craftsmen, being valued in a region almost exclusively dedicated to raising livestock. In the first known Spanish document mentioning Rocha, his trade is listed as a weaver. Yet a subsequent letter noting his southward journey through Mission San Miguel mentions that the priests had kept him occupied there for some time and engaged in carpentry. In any event, Rocha eventually wound up at Mission San Gabriel near Los Angeles, which suggests that he may have enjoyed the protection of the Franciscans. Following an undocumented period, Rocha emerged as a concessionario at the Rancho La Brea in LA, where he raised a herd of 600 cattle, exportation of hides being Southern California's principal economic activity in those days. And further, in the center of the pueblo, he built a home, the largest house thereabouts, according to references, and married Josefa Alvarado, daughter of the settlement's Sargento Comissionado, or better known in today's world as a police chief. The couple had several children. Rocha seems to have alternated between sometimes raising cattle and selling their hides on one hand and carpentry trade on the other until he died in the year of 1837. He was only 47 years old, died very young. The home he built later served for a while as the Los Angeles City Hall. And that is from the book, The Portuguese Presence in California, that was written by Professor Eduardo Mayon Dias, translated to English by Catherine Baker and Professor Bobby Chamberlain. And I collaborated a little bit with the translation as well. And as I said, published by the Portuguese Heritage Publications of California. It is a way for us to commemorate the Portuguese Immigrant Week, this second week of March here in the state of California. PBBI will be here every single day with one segment in English and one segment in Portuguese as we commemorate the Portuguese Immigrant Week in California. And once again, thanks to PFSA for keeping this tradition alive for the last 54 years. And we hope to continue commemorating the Portuguese Immigrant Week in California for many, many generations in the future. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow as we continue to commemorate this worthwhile event. It is quite unique and special that the Portuguese American community in California has 1 week dedicated to celebrate its culture, and a week that is recognized by the governor's office by the state of California. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.